Hello family, my name is Chris, I am your home gamer dad, and I welcome you to part 2 of my Masters of the Universe Clash for Eternia unboxing. So I am flying solo on this one. My son got really into playing with everything that I opened up in part 1, which if you haven't seen that already, I definitely highly recommend you to go in to check that out. And he just kept going and going and going, and time went on, dinner time, yada yada yada. He went to bed, so now here I am down here in order to be able to open up the rest of this stuff for you guys. My Castle Grayskull is sitting up on the shelf up there. You can't see it, but it is an amazing piece. We've seen most of the things that were in the core game. Now we have the special stuff that came from the Kickstarter, which are the 3D terrains, the expansions right here, and the Box of Power. We got a lot of stuff to get to, so let's get opening. Normally when putting terrain down on the board, you're going to be punching out these pieces that you punched out from the punch boards in the core game. So you're just going to see what shape you need based off of the scenario, plop it right on down, and that's where it's going to go. This is what's going to add like your rock formations and your plant formations and things along that ways to your game. But they're all flat pieces that your characters, they stand on, they look at and everything. But again, they're all flat. However, these pieces right here are full 3D items that the figures can stand on. And there's actually something cool that I saw people do that I want to try right here. Starting with the rock pack here, let's pop this open and you can actually see, oh, it just fell right out. Isn't that amazing? Grab them. But again, you have the boards now where you can put them, and so now you have a 3D element that goes onto your board rather than just a flat one. So here you go. Here they all are. They are really cool, thick, nice pieces and everything. But at the same time, like, they look cool, they look nice, but there's still something to them that could be a little bit better. And for what I'm seeing people do is they're taking the punch outs from there and just laying them on top. So not only do you have a 3D like terrain piece here, but now you have a little bit more just flash and color to it. I don't know. I think this is a really cool idea. Watching people do stuff like this, I don't even think this is doesn't fit on anything. Let me see what else I got. There we go. I knew I had the piece somewhere in here for that one. But again, this is just a really cool thing that I've seen people do for their games or whatever. This way you're actually utilizing both the cardboard pieces and the 3D terrain that came with it. You don't have to do this, but it seems to work out pretty well, and it's still a nice stable base for all of the characters to move around on and everything. Next up is the nature pack, and I'm going to try to pull this one out without it going flying all over the place. There we go. Much, much better. And just, again, you can use those pieces that you have there in order to, like, really bring them to life a little bit more. But, I don't know, these pieces look pretty cool as is. They still come in the same basic shapes that you would find on the other ones, but ones like this actually have pieces that you can attach to it to kind of add like trees and everything to it as well. So let me throw these a few under the camera there. So here we are. We got all the different shapes here, which is really cool. You got a water piece here and all the plants, but then you can take these other little plant pieces that come with the game. You have to, the tree fell off, so you got to kind of assemble them and then just put them in there. And now you have another 3D element that you add to the game that really doesn't matter at all. Like, it's just the characters moving around it, but it's really cool to see something like that on the board. Now the problem with this is a water area. There aren't very many water areas. I do have a water base here. That's a little bit much. It's cool to see this in the game, like all the details and everything, but I like this one better, even if I don't see all of the individual texts to this. So it's like, I wish that had some lines to it, but then again, it's a pool, so maybe you don't need it. But then again, characters like Merman jump around the pool water area, something along that ways. I don't know, but really cool how you have a whole bag of all these different trees and everything that you can put together, place into these holes, and add another 3D element and just something to make the board come to life even more. And then lastly, we have the Ruin set here. So these are pieces that are, instead of them landing on top of, they're more sunken in. So as you can see, they have like a wall to them and everything, because these are supposed to be where the heroes have certain areas that they can go in and out of that other enemies can't. So you have the walls that are protecting them. I like this set. This set is really cool. Check these out. Let me tell you, when I be playing scenarios using these runes and everything, this is the piece to use. These are amazing because this is kind of the piece that's used. So these are the same two pieces right here, you know, side by side. Unfortunately, I would have loved if that fit in a little bit better, but it doesn't. However, when you look at it, there's the opening here and the opening here, which are the same on this side there. If I didn't know that was an opening, that would be so difficult for me to keep track of as I was playing. At least when I use these, I know for a fact that my characters can't go anywhere in here except for the open here and the opening there. So these are a must when it comes to using these dungeon scenarios, which I believe there's a bunch of them scattered throughout all of the scenario books. Very, very cool. I love these. And they're so well done. They're nice and tough as well. And I can't wait to get this stuff onto the board and actually see what it looks like during gameplay. Here we go, our first expansion, She-Ra and the Great Rebellion, which I believe I called She-Ra and the Princesses of Powers in the last episode, which, in all honesty, is the same thing of sorts. There is a show out right now. It had a few seasons. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Called She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. It just was a new take on She-Ra and everything, a more updated version or whatever. Fortunately, it didn't really have much He-Man in it, if anything at all. She did mention Grayskull whenever she transformed, but that's about it. But for those that don't know, She-Ra is He-Man's sister. Princess Adora is Prince Adam's sister. She was taken as a baby by Hordak, brought over to Etheria, which is her home planet, and she is there defending it against Hordak and the Evil Hoard. I wasn't able to give this type of information out when I had my son next to me because he was too busy running around doing stuff, but, you know, you get some cool stuff along that way, so we get ourselves what looks like ice spots and character tokens. I'll jump over to that in a minute. Every character here does have their particular cards that go with them for the player board. So She-Ra has hers along with everybody else. And then, of course, their little decks of cards. And then just more cards that are going to be added. Every one of these is going to be adding a ton more cards. And then, of course, you can't forget the minis that are going to appear. Come on. In every single one of these. Let's look at the tokens and then I'll show you the minis. So let's see here. So it's She-Ra, Frosta, Perfuma, I think that's Glimmer. No, you're Glimmer. You're Glimmer. You're probably Mermista. You are Bo, and you are Flutter something. Flutterina. That's her name. There you go. Let me tell you, names in this... not very original when it comes to their powers and everything. And then Cowl is right here, which is like the goofy sidekick that like Orko of sorts for the She-Ra series. He is actually not in this box. I think he appears in the Box of Power, so I'm going to have to grab him and put him somewhere else. But I know that these are for Frosta because she'll be able to put those on the board. Anyway, speaking of which, let's take a look at the figures. As would be expected, they are awesome. I mean, come on. She-Ra and Swiftwind right here. Oh my god, so cool. What I love about this whole series is that each one of these characters is actually based on the toy from back in the 80s. So that's why She-Ra has her like weird crown thing on her head. Where is She-Ra? Here she is. So most She-Ras that you know of don't really have that huge crown that goes around her head. That was something that they gave her for the toy because it could be flipped over. I think one side it looked like a tiara, and then it flipped over to form like these little feathers and everything. So it was a really cool design they did for the toy, but they didn't translate that very well into the show. Is Mermista actually? Yeah, Mermista actually is a mermaid, as she should be, of course. Frosta's over here. And then if you notice there's a space open right down on the bottom, that's where Cowl's supposed to go. But Cowl doesn't come with this set. He comes somewhere else. So as soon as I find him, I'm going to have to put him in here. However, unfortunately, we're not going to see him yet. He is not going to appear for a while. Until then, let's go on over to the next expansion, which is She-Ra's archenemy, or at least in the show in a way. And here we have the Evil Hoard. This is something a lot of people were looking forward to when the campaign was going on. I think this was one of the last expansions that they actually showed off. Maybe it was the Snake Man. I don't remember. But I know this was deeper into the campaign. And people were like, where's the Hoard? Where's Hordak? Yada, yada, yada. Especially because I think we got Mosquitor as an unlockable character. It's like, why do we have him? But we don't have the actual Hoard. So as far as lore goes, from what I can remember anyway, Hordak is Skeletor's teacher. He is the one that taught Skeletor how to do all the black, how to do all the black magic and things along that ways, and basically gave him the power to try to defeat He-Man and go to Castle Grayskull and things along that ways. And of course, Skeletor tries to overthrow his master all the time. In far as the show goes, Hordak is trying to take over Etheria for reasons that I actually do not remember. He enslaves the planet, and then She-Ra originally used to work for the Horde when she was Adora, and he he was the one that kidnapped her. He was the one that brainwashed her. He-Man rescued her, showed her the power of Grayskull, and then she transformed into She-Ra, and now she fights Hordak, yada, yada, yada. We have all some great enemies here. Oh man, so those will go over there under the camera. We have all of our cards, as would be the case, our enemy cards, our scout cards and everything, or I should say foot soldier cards, whatever. Horde troopers, they're so good. I love these things so much, and some really cool minis. And I love that these are kind of their own color as well. Each faction in this game, I believe, are color-coded to kind of just... You can use anything you want when you play the game, but if you want to keep it within the faction, you keep it within the color scheme. Who's ready to play Name That Character? Give you a few seconds to look these over and see if you can name them all. Tick-tock, 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 tick-tock. Here we go. Of course, we have Hordak, the leader of the Horde. And then we have Catra, Shadow Weaver, Grizzlor, Leech, Mantenna, and Modulok. Modulok as a toy was freaking awesome because he literally broke apart into all of his pieces. Claw, arms, body, legs, both heads. He was a modular piece, henceforth the Modulok, and he could be snapped back together and reassembled in all of these different ways, just as long as you had all the pieces. He was a really crazy gimmick, and of course his name fit together. But this is what we have right now for the Horde. As far as the base expansion goes, remember there are more from the Horde that are in the Box of Power, which I will show it off later. I believe these are spell circles for Shadow Weaver as she causes some type of static effect to hit the ground, which I'm sure will just be explained in the cards. Figure-wise, we have some awesome things here, as you would be expected. Hordak does have his Rhydon, which is Mantisaur right here. I completely forgot that this thing was Hordak's. I had the Mantisaur growing up. I just did not remember that it was his Rhydon, or maybe it was just his Rhydon for this. I don't know. They need to give him something. But that's cool that they gave him that. Modulok in just his basic form. Mantenna always scared the heck out of me because of his eyes. Same thing for Leech. Leech, if you looked at him in the weird way, because he was literally... The toy suctioned onto things, but in the show, his hands would like slap around somebody's head and he would be able to control them that way. Some higher level troopers here, like these are his elite, and then of course his regular troopers, and then the characters here. Grizzlor looks fierce. Man, it's crazy. I love these. I love all of this stuff. Just looking at this, and my childhood is coming back to me going, hey, do you remember this? Do you remember that? Wow. This is a series already on this channel called This Brings Me Back. Every one of these figures brings me back. Moving on to expansion number 3, Wrath of the Snake Man. Now, I believe in the original cartoon, the Snake Men didn't really get too much backstory to them. In fact, I don't think you saw most of them other than Cobra Khan. They never really appeared or anything along that ways. It wasn't until much later that you learn that the Snake Men were like original Eternians, or they were on Eternia long before any of He-Man and the Masters were, and they tried to take over the planet and yada yada yada. And King Grayskull himself, I believe, beat King Hiss and sent him into like... I forget what it's called, but like think of it as like the Master Universe equivalent to the negative zone. Something that he would send him in order to never have to see him again. Doesn't actually kill him or his army, which is, comes back and snake bites him in the butt. But is just something that happens. Does he do the same thing for Hordak? I don't think does he fight Hordak in the same way? I don't remember. That could have been the 2003 version as well, that had him fight Hordak, because I remember that series ended in a way that was like a huge cliffhanger for no reason at all. Wow, this actually has a scenario book to it with an AI scenario to it called Pit Bosses. Oh, that's great. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not using the Tyrannosaurus Rex, right? Tyrantosaurus, I'm sorry, in it. But that's okay, no problem. A lot of stuff in there. Oh, man, this is some cool stuff. More conditions, because you're a snake man. There's poison, constrict, and paralysis. The base game has one status to it, daze. That's it. Of course, we have Snake Men here, so they're going to be able to poison you and do other things like that. Snake Face, he's going to look at you, he's going to turn you into stone, henceforth paralysis, and just King Hiss being able to go... Just check this out. Now, I'm not going to really go over these cards very much, but I just love that, you have King Hiss here in like his normal King Hiss form, and then on the very back of this, they showed you in his Serpent King form, which is pretty much when the outer shell of him exposes, you get all of these snakes that pop out, and he is well, he's literally a monster, but he is super strong and super powerful as this mode, and I love that you can actually play as both. So with here, we have our condition tokens that they added here because that was new that they added to the game. Looks like a few other spots where something is going to go there. I'd have to read the book to see exactly what these represent. And then, are we ready? Are we ready? Look at these guys. Ba, 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 ba. Who are they? Here we go. King Hiss, which you probably should know because I got that already. That's Rattler. Squeeze, that's with 3 S's, maybe 4 S's, and then the word squeeze. There's your Cobra Khan, there's your Tongue Lasher, Snakeface, and then Tyrantosaurus Rex, which again, I don't think was always technically associated with King Hiss, but for this game they added in, I had a pterodactyl and a triceratops version as well, because it was like ancient Eternian dinosaurs and whatnot, but awesome, so awesome that he appears here. And then, of course, what you're waiting for right here is the Snake Man. Now, I guess because they're evil of sorts, quote-unquote evil, they're really the same color palette as Hordak and his gang. But you can definitely tell that these are the Snake Man. I mean, come on, giant snakes and everything. It's cool. Oh, man, Rattler looks so awesome there. And look at this. Look at this guy. Oh, man, you don't have one with King Hiss riding on it, so he doesn't have a ride-on beast like everyone else. But this guy is his own thing, running around, smashing things around. Do we have King Hiss here? There he is. There he is in his ultimate form with all of the snakes sticking out and everything. Oh my god, these are so cool. Oh, squeeze with his super long arms that stretch around you and squeeze you to death. Snakeface with his paralysis stare. Cobra Khan, who worked for Skeletor for a while, but then like betrayed him in order to release King Hiss. Here's Tongue Lasher over here with his tongue. Oh my god, love it! Oh, I could go on forever and ever talking about these guys, but here you have the third and final expansion that you can get for the game. So you have those 3. So let's just bring those here. So yeah, I just wanted to bring your attention that these are the 3 current expansions out for the game. She-Ra, the Snake Man, and the Evil Hoard. I think these are all can be purchased separately in order to add to your game, and really what they're adding to the game are just more characters to play as. So rather than just base off the ones that you have in the base game, you can now add the entire Rebellion, the entire Snake Man, and the entire Horde. And as always, these can be mix and match to your heart's content. You don't have to play as any particular faction in one shot. It helps because their abilities work off each other and play off of each other, but you can mix and match them to your heart's content. You could have King Hiss and, I don't know, Shadow Weaver and Bo as your team for reasons unknown, but if that's who some of your favorite characters are, then you absolutely can do that. And now if you want something where you can add a bajillion more characters, let's open the Box of Power. So this is just as big as the core set, and really all it has in it are minis. That's it. Just more characters to play as, more ways that you can go into this game and play as somebody new, somebody different, somebody original and whatnot in order to add the variance to your game. Every single one of these was a Kickstarter unlock. There was daily unlocks that you saw throughout the course of the Kickstarter, and then of course ones that came out as more and more money was pumped into this game. And oddly enough, the very last stretch goal for it was this box. And this is an awesome box. I love the image of it on front and everything. It's so childhood. It's so childhood. I love it. Amazing. So cool. This is a massive box, and this is just going to be absolutely insane. When I open the Box of Power, I have the power to show you all this box of nothing but... So, they're going to be able to store a bunch of different things. I love it already. I'm going to show those off in a minute. But first off, I love the fact that I just get all this storage immediately, including like little containers for, like it looks probably the dice and other tokens and things like that. If I remove this, oh, there it is. There it is. Before moving forward, the Box of Power has its own scenario book in it as well. Let's do a quick flip through here to see what we got. We got one AI scenario there, He-Man everywhere, which is funny because then we have Skeletor everywhere. There's like mini He-Man and mini Skeletor figures. I'm surprised this isn't an evil, or not an evil one. I'm reading the Evil Warriors up there. An AI scenario, because that's Skeletor for you. Save the Holidays with Skeletor's exploding presents from the Christmas episode. Man, I remember that. That was insane. Open sides. Alright, so unfortunately it was only 2 AIs on that one, but at least there's still a few more that I can play as, and then be able to show you a few different things from the game as well. Guys, look at these tokens. And by look at these tokens, I mean just look at all of these around here. We're not going to go over every single one of them, but take a look at them, see who you can name. Let me know in the comments below if there's anybody here you do not recognize, because I can name every single one of these guys straight through. Like, I'm just going to give you guys a real quick hint for probably the 2 most unknown ones. That's Hero, which, if I can remember correctly, is either one of the original Masters of the Universe Heroes of Eternia, or He-Man's future son. It's one or the other. There's actually been like 3 or 4 heroes over the course of Eternia's history. And this one here is not He-Man, but this is the original King Grayskull. That's what that is. That is King Grayskull. So Hero and King Grayskull, and then everybody else, just see if you can name who they are. But there's more. Moving in on this one, we have more terrains and everything, and then we have basically the villains. The other one had some like good guys in it, mostly good guys, but we have villains in this one as well. And as far as I'm concerned, just looking at them all, I could name everyone except Fangor and Lady Slither, I think, or Lady Slithe or something like that. These 2, he was a toy. I never had him. She, I think, was just introduced when the Snake Men were becoming a little bit more popular as just another snake person and somebody else to be on King Hiss's side. His queen of sorts. So these 2 are like the most that are unknown to me. But oddly enough, everybody else on here I am quite familiar with. Let's go. We have to look at the figures. Let's go. Figures everywhere, my gosh. So when you're going through the board, you're going to have objective tokens, and that's what these pieces are. These pieces represent objective tokens that you need to hit and interact with in order to accomplish various goals depending on the scenario we're in. All of these are mini He-Man figures, because there was that episode where there was mini He-Man and mini Skeletor running around. And then on the bottom down here, it's hard to really see all of them, but there's just so many figures. Scareglow. Oh, God. I always thought this was like a Skeletor clone. I think this is like the very, very evil version of Skeletor or something like that from like one of the Dark Dimensions. So awesome right there. He Glue in the Dark, his actual figure. Mosquitor that I mentioned before, he was unlocked pretty early in the campaign that made you believe that the Horde was coming, which they did, obviously. Ninjor, the Ninja, which I wish they did Season 3 of the 2003 version, because he was supposed to be in that. Just some really cool characters here. Some awesome, like, variants. Terror Claw Skeletor. What? Anybody remember this? Where he was wearing, like, the tank top or whatever. Crop top shirt or whatnot. It was so weird, that design. But that's the cool thing about these, is that these are all based 100% on the toys from back in the 80s. So if you just find a picture of those toys, you would be able to paint these no problem, because you would have a full 360-degree like view of what every color is. Moving on to part 2 right here. So awesome. Stridor with Fisto riding on him, which was like the Eternian super horse of sorts. Hero right here, which is magical staff, because this hero I think was more attuned to the magic energy, whereas He-Man was more of a physical shot. Snout Spout, the fireman elephant. What are these names? Extendar in his extended form, very cool. And then down here we have Battle Cat just as himself without He-Man, because the core has He-Man riding Battle Cat. Same thing with Panther over here, him by himself. And then of course Swiftwind flying off on himself as well. You're able to play as Queen Marlena, who is an Earthling, by the way. She came to Eternia, I forget how, some weird portal or whatever. She married King Randor and had 2 children, Adam and, of course, Adora. And then here is Prince Adam, which is He-Man's secret identity, and Cringer. Oh, look at It's this little scaredy kitty right here. Oh, poor Cringer, scared. And then, of course, there are certain scenarios that have demon plants on them, which... Sorry, I thought I had pulled it, but there are certain terrain tiles that have plants on them that are supposed to represent these type of plants. So you would just put them on there like that. And it would just be another thing that you could add to your board to, again, as I mentioned before, bring more life to it. Just really emphasize the 3D nature of all of these figures and everything on here. Guys, this is so insane. I can go through every one of these characters right here and tell you a little bit something about them and everything, but I think I would rather save that for when I actually do my playthroughs of the game and figure out who I would want to play as first. Probably somebody from the core game, and then start really bringing in these guys. If Stonar and Rockdon from the Meteor Planet or whatever it is. Sorceress, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Sorceress. And then her Zor form, which is great. Oh man, I could just go on and on, but there you go. The Box of Power, fantastic. That was a lot of minis, and I don't paint minis. I want to. I would love to paint minis one day. Maybe when all the kids have grown and kind of do their own thing and go off to a friend's house or whatever, and I actually have time to sit there and just do random hobbies like that and everything, I will get into the painting game. I know a lot of you out there are just starting to get into it if you haven't been a part of it for so long. I envy you so much because it looks like so much fun being able to paint these things. I just don't have the time or resources at this point, but that doesn't mean I won't someday. But until then, I can still enjoy the minis for what they are, and when I look at them, I can envision them in the color schemes that I remember from a kid, and just really, really can't wait to get them into these scenarios and really, really show you what they're made of. And yes, in case you're wondering, I'm going to figure out a way in order to smush all of these boxes together into one. If you would like to see that, because I've done that with my Transformers deck building game, please let me know down in the comments below. Is that something you'd be interested in seeing, how I pack up all of these expansions, which is these two and then the 3 that you saw and the terrain kits and everything, into as few boxes as possible, which at this point is probably going to be this box and this box. This guy is just going to sit on the shelf just as is, because you don't back this into a box. You display Grayskull in all of its glory for all to see all the time, regardless. Thank you all so much for going on this unboxing journey with me. Yes, it was a 2-parter and everything, but I couldn't let my son just not play with things anymore. We had so many more things to open, but he was having such a great time. And I figured if I do the second part by myself, it was just easier to bounce through them a little bit faster. Let me know what you think of everything that you've seen between part 1 and part 2. Did you have a favorite Master of the Universe character? One that you enjoy seeing in this game, that you remember the toys of and just all the different things that they could possibly do? Did you enjoy the show back then? Does this bring back your memories? Does this take you back? Do you have this game? There's so many things I want to know and I want to show you and I want to be part of and everything, and I want to hear all of your opinions about it, because Masters of the Universe is definitely one of those shows that really influenced, not so much influenced me, but was one that I went to quite often growing up, and it just hit all the right spots for me, and I loved every moment of it. 100% expect me to do a how to play this game eventually down the line, most likely going over the AI functions and everything, and of course, I will be doing full-on sessions using the AI mode and everything to show you as many characters as I possibly can, how they play, what they do, and all of that awesome stuff. So that means in order to not miss any future Masters of the Universe action or any other fun videos I happen to put out for you to enjoy, subscribe to the Home Gamer Dad. Let me know what you think of it all down in the below. As always, you guys have been absolutely amazing. Take care of yourselves and each other. We are family forever, gaming together. By the power of Grayskull, we have the power. Until next time, guys. Later.